mean, I've been at this a long time.
Well, the funny thing is, I didn't know you knew Epi, so I'm going to invite you. We're going to go, you and I are going to go interview Epi together. It's going to take two because of the way he thinks.
Well, I'll just, you know, all you got to do is goose him along. You know? That's one thing. When you meet the Robert Kleins or the guys from Chicago, I've met everybody along the way. You know, Kate Taylor, people. And if there's no common ground, you say Epi.
Oh, and they can go. And they can go.
How much does he owe you? How much does he owe you?
Right.
Could you take a little less? We didn't do that well in the bar tonight. Maybe just take a few dollars less.
That's him.
I love
you,
Michael
you
Epstein.
really got
I love
him.
you.
I read. He let me come in to read palms when I needed the cash, and that was my thing. He let me roll around. But before that, I was just like the little sister who used to come in, and I had run of the joint. Just run of the joint.
Some of those shows, David Bromberg, Steve Goodman, John Prine.
I saw Springsteen before he had his contract, and he was playing acoustically solo because Epi couldn't afford to pay the
band. Right.
And it was the 23rd or 4th of January because it was my birthday. Coldest night of the year, 11 o'clock, and there was nobody in the place.
Great.
Nobody. I offered Springsteen. He was hungry looking. I mean, his clothes were dirty. They were torn. The guy had no money. Okay, and I'm some girl from the North Shore, and I have $10 in my pocket.
Slutty.
I have $10 in my pocket, and I said to him, "You really look hungry." And I knew all these people had the backstage thing. I said, "Can I buy you a hamburger?" He said, "Well, I'm not looking to get picked up." And I looked at him. I said, "I'm not looking to pick you up." That was it. That was it for his hamburger. I'm not looking to get picked up. Very, very funny. Very funny.
I have a very good friend named Mark Madnick, who started Final Draft screenwriting software, and he owns a company.
Oh, really?
And I want to give him a plug because he looks exactly like Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, really?
If you ever see Mark Madnick, you're going to say, that's Bruce Springsteen. And I just love to tease him about it. So whenever somebody brings up Springsteen, I say, I know a guy who looks more like him than him.
So what were some of your favorite haunts on the island?
I spent so much time at Cagney's. I spent so much time at the old homestead in Oyster Bay, Joe's Bar when it was there, a lot of time at Reinhardt's before it became the Crescent Beach Club, and the Gold Coast when it was the happening place in Glen Cove.
Oh, I used to go to the Gold Coast.
I used to go
to the
when I worked at Pipe and Rock Club as the head busboy and dishwasher and stuff like that, and they had a buffet for the very wealthy people every Thursday and every Sunday because that was traditionally maids' night off, Thursday night and Sunday night off.
That's right.
Thursday and Sunday night, Molly and Me, which is where all the maids went out in Glen Cove, was really hopping. So it was made in heaven because I'd work on a Thursday night because there was a buffet, and the reason it was a buffet was because the maids' night was off. Maids were off that night, so they were all Molly and Me. So I'd work on Thursday and Sundays and go to the Molly and Me.
Oh, that's funny.
In Glen Cove and meet, the beautiful Irish and English maids. And then me and Bates wound up playing there for years.
I remember that. That I remember.
And that was great fun.
Did you ever go to the Wayside?
Used to go to the Wayside. Not a real lot, but, the Wayside, the Fools Rush In.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you stayed local. Why take that death-defying drive home?
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Glen Cove to Oyster Bay,
and most nights we'd be playing.
Right.
So, the nights I went out would be local. Cagney's, Uvies, Joe's. Cagney's, Uvies, Joe's.
I sat down to Uvies and Cagney's. Whatever happened to the guy that owned Cagney's? He was a nice guy.
Haas lives down the street. He's
really?
roommates with the guy that fixes my computers. Nobody goes far. There's a guy that owns the Bayville. Two guys own the Bayville service station.
Oh, okay.
And one guy was in my class, graduated high school with him, and the other guy was a couple years older. Ronnie Young's, still a good friend. He owns the gas station, and this is so defining of me and of an era. I think I was in 5th grade. You have a small gang of people in East Norwich. I'm from just south of Oyster Bay. East Norwich is the crossroads. It's basically an Indian path, 106 and 25A, Northern Boulevard. And it's the crossroads, and East Norwich was basically a hamlet where the people, it sprung up from the people that service the estates.
Right.
Like my grandfather, there was actually a blacksmith shop on the corner of my property growing up. I mean, my grandfather, not 5 generations back, my father's father was a blacksmith, as was his father, his father's father.
Oh, I didn't
like,
know
wow,
that.
how come there's so many blacksmiths? But you think about it, there were no cars. Everybody had to have horses, so there had to be a lot of blacksmiths. It's like, you know, it wasn't, you know, if you did it, your son did it, and your sons did it. And
it was a business.
It was a business. And in the little hamlet, you know, there was a group of us, you know, maybe 4, 5, 6, however many guys of different ages, because we were close. You know, so you weren't 25 guys from 3rd grade. There was a guy from 3rd grade, a guy from 5th grade, you know. And Ronnie was 2 or 3 years older, and around 5th grade or something, you know, I was the original Dirty Johnny with the dirty jokes and being dirty and everything. And I can tell you where it was. It was on Floyd Place. He came up to me and he said, "Jackie, I got a new curse word." He might as well have said, you know, "I got a case of Baby Ruths," or "I got an Archie comic book." You know, it was like, wow. He said, "I swear to God, this is a true story." He said, "I got a new curse word." I said, "Really? What is it?" And he said, "Sex." I said, "What's it mean?" He said, "I don't know. I just know it's really dirty." I swear to God, that's a true story. Is that the great?
Oh,
you couldn't make that up. You couldn't make that up.
That's very funny.
1950s.
That's very funny.
I don't know what sex is. I just know it's dirty.
Did he tell you how he knew that? He just
He
knew.
must have heard his parents talk. But who knows? Who knows?
Oh, very funny.
That is an absolute, because that stuck with me forever. And then later on in life, as I became a guy who told dirty jokes and everything, was like, it's just, because that was the whole thing. Our childhood, sex is dirty. Sex is a dirty word.
Oh, yeah, you don't get into that stuff. Whatever you do.
That's a great
Fabulous, fabulous. Well, listen, Jackie, we have to come back and do this again.
We can do this anytime.
Jackie and Jamie do Long Island, or Jackie does Long Island, and we'll go back. What I'd like to do is to some of your old haunts, and I'd like to do Epi first. Let's get a hold of Epi and interview Epi.
I'll put you in an email loop and we'll find them. We'll go to Chinks for a hot dog.
Yeah, perfect.
We'll drive past James H. Vernon High School and see if they have that picture. Me give them a finger.
Oh, perfect.
I've been around a long time. When I was a kid, Sam's Barber Shop actually had the post office boxes in the back of the barber shop.
Oh, I believe that. Yeah, yeah.
That's a long time.
Well, I don't think that there were concrete sidewalks on all of Oyster Bay until the late 60s.
No. That was all that was a long time coming. I remember them putting in the cobblestone sides of the streets.
Oh, yeah,
that
definitely.
That was a whole big deal.
Yeah,
and
that
sewers and wow.
I attended that civic meeting, to tell you the truth. I voted on. I guess we had the magazine, the newspaper, and we covered it. Is what we did on that one.
We love being in the sunstorm.
Yeah, that was very funny.
I love Vito Benito. Victor. I love Victor.
Well, Victor says hello. He wants you to go do this thing with me. But one last question. Do you remember when the horseshoe crabs used to come in and flood Shore Road? When every spring the bay would flood? And it would come up on Shore Road on the TR Beach.
That was so long ago.
Yeah.
But there was so many of them.
They were all black. The whole road would turn black.
So there was so many of them. But that hasn't happened. So many phenomena. You know, we used to fish off the beach and catch blowfish. And they were the greatest eating. And you could catch 30 of them in a half hour. And that was when I was a kid, and I haven't seen anybody catch one. I guess it's cyclical or whatever happens, because you still can go out there with a net and catch silversides, and you can still fish off the beach and get snappers, which is always fun. In the beginning of August, you have to eat 15 of them to get full, and by the end of August, you only have to eat 3 of them to get full, because they get so exciting.
Well, we used to lobster off the beach down there.
Yeah, there's people that put traps out here. All my floats are lobster floats. I have floats all over my property.
Can you get a lobster now?
I don't. There's people that actually skin dive off of Walsh Wharf.
Yeah.
And they go out there and get them, but
I didn't know they still came down this way. I thought they kind of stopped.
No, they're out there. They're out there.
Okay.
Neil from the other street, he's got like one of those licenses where I think you're allowed to have 7 traps. So he puts out 7 traps, and the whole street eats lobster. And this is still a very hokey, wonderful town.
Bayville is the best. Bayville is absolutely the best.
My ex-wife is a couple doors away.
And you're still friendly, right?
My best friend,
Oh,
Nancy
that's
Sirianni.
fabulous. That's fabulous. I'm so glad you still work together. Victor and I still work together.
It's great, right?
It is. It's good. I think at some levels it's very comfortable. I don't think it's always comfortable, but I think at some levels at least you know what you're going to get.
Because you look at each other and go, I forget, whose fault was it?
Yes. Oh, well, that doesn't matter anymore. That doesn't, you know. Who wants to know whose fault it is? I mean, I'm getting too old for that.
But Nancy still looks so amazing, and we have never slipped back into bed ever. And it's so funny because, you know, it wouldn't be a good idea, but she still does it for me. I mean, that's 40 years ago, man.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I met her in 75, 85, 95, 25. It's 35 years ago. She still looks exactly the same. She's still beautiful.
Oh, excellent. Oh, that's important. That's important.
You know, she's got a tale to tell. Maybe we should interview her, too. She's really
interesting. Let's do that next, too, then. Let's do her next, and then we'll arrange for Epi.
We'll find Epi.
Okay, that'll be perfect.
Nancy's still a singer-songwriter, and she actually plays in the songwriting showcase that I've done a few times over at Morel's on Post Avenue that Epi started. I don't know if he still runs it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, you know, we're all tied in.
Oh, okay, so let's do that. Let's do Nancy, and then let's do Epi. Maybe Nancy wants to come with us to talk to Epi, and we can have a chat.
You should also talk to the guys at the Long Island Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because they're very interesting.
Well, we're going with you.
Okay, good.
This is Jackie and Jamie do Long Island. We're going
It'd be great if we get on, you know, Channel 12, Channel 55, something like this, because I think people would tune into this.
Oh, this is fabulous.
It's fun.
This is fabulous.